Okay, temperance. Last Sabbath, we talked about temperance and our definition of temperance, which was, we define temperance as the moderation in things that are good and abstinence from things that are bad for us. You know, good things like food, exercise, water, and sunlight can have negative effects on our health if not used in moderation. Okay? Now remember that? The examples we gave, overeating. Eating is good, right? Because why do we eat food? Why do we eat food? Yeah, eating is good. But when we talk about temperance, it can also be somehow bad, but to the extent. Why do we eat food? Sorry? Okay. Exactly. Growth, strength, so on and so forth. But if we are not temperate in whatever we eat, then at the end of the day it becomes a disaster. So overeating overburdens the stomach and can lead to indigestion, heartburn, irritability, insomnia, dullness, and weight gain. But again, we also looked at moderate exercise, which was vital for optimum health. At the same time, excessive exercise can have negative effect on our health. How can excessive exercise have a negative effect on our bodies or on our health? How? Yes? No, we don't. Yes, Chief. Okay. When you overexercise, you overdo it, you can have muscle strains. Okay. Then, sorry? Injuries like strains and sprains. Then also, sorry? You can get sick. How? The vital force is lowered. Then also a lot of lactic acid is secreted, hence leading to the muscle pulls. We also looked at rest. Rest being good, right? But again, excess of it, if you overindulge in rest, what happens? Obesity. Rest is good for regeneration. Too much rest is detrimental to our health. Now, we also looked at sunshine, right? It's good, but what is the disadvantage of exposure to sunshine? Okay. Even though it's good, it's a good source of vitamin D. Really? I think I made a mistake there. Sunshine is not a good source of vitamin D, but the ultraviolet rays in sunshine, they help to activate vitamin D, right? Yeah, the vitamin D, we have the inactive form of it, which is the inactive form of vitamin D in the body, which is vitamin D2. So the ultraviolet rays, which we get through sunshine, it helps to activate the inactive vitamin D to active vitamin D. So excessive sunshine, because now when those ultraviolet rays, they are in excess, they lead to skin burns, hence being a promoting agent for skin cancer. So besides using in moderation the good things that God has provided for us, we must abstain from all things that will harm the body. That's where now temperance comes in. The harmful things that harm the body. For instance, alcohol use, drugs, soft drinks, the sodas, so on and so forth, and unclean foods must be discarded from our table. There we are. So as we strive for optimum health, we must also endeavor to put the following tested principles into practice. Principle number 1. 1A. We must endeavor to eat at regular intervals. Actually, this is like a preamble of this because you're not seeing quotations, Bible verses, so on and so forth. So these are the principles that are to guide us when it comes to temperance, not only in the food but in other aspects of life. One, the first principle, we must endeavor to eat at regular intervals and avoid the use of snacks which delay digestion. What do we mean by eating at regular intervals? And avoiding snacks, that is in between meals. Regular intervals, what do we mean here? On time, on a day. You see, at times when we talk about such things, we always don't take it for granted. Rather, we take it for granted, sorry. But not until having indulged in the eating, there are those who suffer from conditions like diabetes, and they are onto medication, insulin shots, and you're given a precise time. By 7 a.m., you have to have a shot. 30 minutes later, you have to eat. After 8 hours, you must have a shot after eating. Actually, it's before food and after food. So the time, they always tell you that the medication is going to work at that specific time interval. Why would we want to first fall sick? Then we start honoring time. Why? You know, many times I know cares of the world here and there. We have very many excuses. And those came from the Garden of Eden when our forefathers, former fathers rather, they transgressed the law of God. From that day, we always have figs of apron round about us. Why are you late for church? You know, traffic. You know, if you knew there was traffic, why didn't you wake up at 5 and travel to come to church? Why? So we must have, you know, that regular eating habits. All that can be done by the grace of God. The second principle, we must avoid drinking with the meals. Okay? We are, I think today, yeah, and us here, we have practiced this, not eating with meals. I don't know if it's the same thing with our homes, because many times when we are in public, we want to follow the principle. But when we are down there alone, we always, you know, we have this saying that after all, there is no one seeing me. I can indulge in whatever I'm doing. Yes, Chief? How can you take tea in the morning? How can someone take tea? Taking tea for what? Like for what? Breakfast. You know, before I answer that, the most important meal in a day, it's a breakfast. Why? That meal, it's going to help you go through the entire day. You were fasting. Breakfast. You're breaking the fast. Let me first ask, have you ever fasted? When you do fast, do you only take a cup of tea, that is whatever you put in and the sweetener, sugar, and you go? No, do you do that when you do fast? When you fast, when you're breaking the fast, do you only take tea? You eat bananas, fruits, whatever the case, then you eat food, right? Why would you take tea? You last ate at 8 p.m., it's now 8 a.m., all those hours, you haven't eaten anything, you have fasted. And the name, it's even very suitable. I thank God for that. Breakfast. You're breaking the fast. And you indulge in a cup of tea and a piece of bread. So I may give the right answer to a wrong question at the end of it all. Right? Yeah, let us eat food. Let us eat food. Because even them to tell you that, okay, when you're doing your tea and bread, first chew the bread, then you take tea, and so on and so forth, it's not making sense. Because at the end of the day, you have to eat food. Why food? you are going to work throughout the day. The food you're eating in the morning, it's going to give you all the strength that is going to push you throughout the day. Right? We continue. We must avoid drinking with meals. Why shouldn't we eat food at the same time sipping water, tea, juice, so on and so forth? And perhaps if you are to do it, because now someone may be like, the other day I was eating cassava and it was almost choking because it's having a lot of starch, right? Let us not pretend that we don't do this. If it's cassava, potatoes, lot of starch, less saliva in the mouth, how are you to take tea? Rather, how are you to drink with that meal? Supu. Okay, now you see, the problem is, if we are having, if we are doing what? If we are having, we are eating, let me say food, for example, sweet potatoes or cassava, it's choking us and we have to take tea or water or juice. Many times, just a moment, many times, as the food is still in the mouth, you're chewing, it's choking you. You're going to sip the water and swallow the water, you leave the food in the mouth. So who is fooling who? But by principle it is, if you are to take fluids with your food, while the food is still in the mouth, sip, let that water entangle with the food, mix it together to soften it, because the instance of you sipping that water precisely lukewarm is because you didn't have enough saliva. It's choking you. But the funny thing is, you indulge yourself in potatoes, they are choking you, you're going to sip water and you swallow the water, you leave the potatoes in the mouth. You have not done anything.
I also talk about why we should not drink and eat at the same time. Because like the pH of our hydrochloric acid or the digestive enzyme is not as very strong as you may find in other animals that feed on flesh. So when we keep hydrating our body throughout the day, like our saliva is almost 90% water. So when you're eating, that saliva, when you have enough saliva, it helps in breaking down that food. And then remember, when that food gets into the stomach, there are some hydrochloric acid that comes to help digest that food and also absorb the water nutrients. So when we drink water or when we drink tea, immediately after eating or when we are eating, that HCl is diluted.
Diluted.
It cannot digest the food that we're supposed to digest it. And also the nutrients are not absorbed well as they should be. Absorbed. At the end of the day, you eat food, but it does not nourish you because it does not have enough acid to do what to digest it. At the end of the day, you get bloating, or you get a lot of those acid plugs and many other complications, which do not have it.
Oh, all right. Thank you for that. So we are reminded we should take water 20 to 30 minutes before food or 1 hour after a meal. Our third principle, we must endeavor to avoid refined sugars. Why? Because they retard the immune system from fighting infections. So we have quite a number of substitutes for refined sugar. That is honey, molasses, we have what? Brown sugar, we have stevia, you know. So there are some of the things. Okay. In as much as fruits and vegetables are good, we must avoid eating two food items together, as their combination causes fermentation in the stomach, which can lead to some healthy issues. That is mixing fruits and vegetables. We shouldn't eat those two in the same sitting. If in your breakfast plate contained fruits, you can do the vegetables. The thing is, we can talk about foods and blood group and all that. To me, actually, what I'm going to say I'm responsible for what I'm saying here, but I'm not responsible for what you're going to understand. Are we together? I'm responsible for what I'm saying, which is personally, for now, since it's not, I've heard of those sayings which are not backed by the SOP and the Bible, eating food according to blood group. That one, to me, it doesn't settle well with me, unless otherwise someone proves it. Then too, can I ask you a question? Can you eat portion alone without sauce? Whatever sauce you're going to mention, before you answer me, it's serving protein. No, you talked of sim.
Yesterday when we ate portion, we used it with
Skuma. Yes. Proteins are in there, the fiber is in there. Now, when you talk about peanut butter, that is same, and nuts. Actually, it's rich in proteins and fats.
But what is the content of protein?
Sorry, the content. The percentage at the end of the day, right now, it depends on your quantity. Because if I'm coming, if you are to have the daily recommended quantity of proteins, if you're eating only beans, you have to eat 1 cup of beans. But how many of us here eat a full cup of beans on a meal? That's if you're only eating portion and beans. To have the daily recommended quantity of proteins, then that means that in that sitting you're going to eat half a cup of beans, and in evening you eat half a cup of beans. Together you're coming with a daily recommended value of proteins. However, if you are to eat beans and you add there maybe, the avocados, this and that, the peanut butter, then the quantity of beans is going to reduce. So at the end of the day, you are going to eat proteins. But with that, personally, I wouldn't indulge into answering that when I'm not having fully backed evidence. Yes, sir.
Personally, what I can say about that is that I don't believe in a blood group
eating.
Because the food you eat, the way your body responds to different types of food, does not depend on the blood.
Exactly.
But many of us have been adapted differently.
Sure.
We respond differently to
different food.
Now, you may find that I eat beans so well, and I am okay with them. But when another person eats them,
yes, having digestive issues.
Because of sin.
True.
Sin has shaped us differently in that way. Now, it is not the blood group. It is you who is eating what your body does not want. What you're supposed to do is actually to study your body. If you know my body responds negatively to such and such a food, it's an allergy to me, then you should abstain from the beans. Because your body cannot handle them. It's not because they are complex proteins, but just simply because they contain some allergic particles which your body cannot handle. So the best thing to do is to learn that why I eat beans, they do this to me. I think beans are not good to me. I've tried them, but every time I eat them, my stomach is bloating. But when I try the peanut test, everything is okay.
It's okay.
So the problem is not with the food itself, but your body does not like that.
They're not, yeah,
so you
sure.
should eat according to how the body responds to the food, not how the blood group I have. You see that?
Yeah. Okay, all right. Let me read this too. Our last principle is we must endeavor not to eat late in the evening. Why? At that time the stomach needs a rest too. Many are those who are grappling with serious health issues as a result of eating late in the evening or still in the night. You see, we have always been talking about this. At 10 p.m. the body shuts down to do house cleaning until 4 a.m. So if you eat food at 10 p.m. the vital energies are down, and that food won't be thoroughly digested. So we should avoid late night meals. At least the latest, if you are to eat at 8, let it be very soft food. You can do the porridge and all that. Then you sleep at 10. You should sleep 2 hours after your meal if you eat at night. We talked about that. That's why I don't want to indulge it in. Okay, here. So, some words of admonition. Even as many in our world today are destroying the body temple through unrestrained use of the good things of life and various harmful substances. Yeah, it's my prayer that the Lord will provide you with the needed strength to consider a new start in temperance. Okay? The last paragraph, last slide for today. That is in Testimonies to the Church, Volume 3, page 416. Temperance in eating must be practiced before you can be a patient man. You know, when we talk about men, now this is to be biblical. In the Bible, when we talk about man, we mean both female and male. So temperance in eating must be practiced before you can be a patient man. For today, I'll stop there. Next time, we shall begin from there. Aspects of biblical temperance in eating. It's exactly 5. And my time is up. May the good Lord be with you. We meet again when we can't avoid it by the grace of God. Until then, I remain Edmond.